Hey, what's good? You feel me? Welcome back today, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. A couple days ago, I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about different type of games and things of that nature. And we were talking about fighting games actually, and we're basically talking about how it's just harder to get into fighting games than it is to get into any other genre, or that's what it often feels like. You know what I mean? Because fighting games just have a lot of systems, a lot of concepts that you have to learn, a lot of concepts that are, I wouldn't say exclusive, but the most pronounced within the fighting game genre. You know what I'm saying? A lot of concepts you won't. Yeah, some are just in fighting games, but a lot of concepts you won't see in a Call of Duty or a Forza Horizon. Is that what kids be playing? I don't think it is, right? 2K maybe, FIFA. FIFA do got the motion inputs though. I think don't 2K too. It doesn't matter. I'm getting off topic. What I'm trying to say is, it's a lot harder to get into those games. But is it a fault of, or let me not say fault. Is it just that that's how the games are created, or can there be something we could improve within fighting games to make it easier to get into them and easier to understand its systems? That's what we're gonna look at today in a video from Toko called "Why Almost No One Can Get Into Fighting Games." Educate me, good sir.
Be willing to not only hype up and cherish the games you love, but also look at them critically to see them reach their full potential. Spitting 0 seconds in because I'm a thug. 2024 was when I really started to get into real fighting games. But before that, I mean, I had played games like Mortal Kombat X and 11, in the Injustice 2 mobile game, and Mortal Kombat 2 on one of those 500.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not know there was an Injustice 2 mobile game. What the fuck? Wait, did I? Do I? Maybe I do. I do know there's this mobile Marvel fighting game. I forgot what it's called, but I do remember that.
And I played a lot, and I mean a lot, of my own copy of Smash 4 for the Nintendo Wii U. Smash was and still is a game that everyone is always down to play, and everyone just fucking loves.
You know what it is, though? That's the thing about Smash, bro. Smash has terrible tutorialization. It actually does not teach you a thing about the game, bro. You have to go online. You have to have people who are able to teach you these things, bro. Truly. Smash don't teach you shit.
These? Okay, obviously not everyone, but majority of people who play games do not indulge in fighting games like how fighting.
Wait, so he's saying why do people like Smash and are able to get into Smash while not get into Smash? I don't know. While not liking games like this. Well, I think what it comes down to is that Smash within its systems is just a lot more accessible. It's easier to just, kind of do your thing. Combos aren't as important to have fun. I do want to preface that. When I say these things aren't important, I'm not saying that they aren't important at a high level, but they're not important to have fun. Combos aren't important to have fun. Block pressure isn't important to have fun. Even neutral, that might be the most important thing. But, there kind of depends on how good your opponent is in a way. For the most part, you can jump into Smash and kind of just do things and have fun within the game. You don't have to go into its deeper systems. I'm not gonna lie, if you're playing Street Fighter and you don't know how to shoot a Hadouken, you're probably not gonna have that much fun. I'm just gonna be honest. If you're playing Street Fighter and you don't understand the concept of, oh, if they jump up, I can hit down heavy punch, or I can hit neutral heavy kick, or whatever the anti-air is for your character. I can hit that button to kind of knock them out the air. You're not gonna have fun. If you don't realize that you can jump over a fireball in Street Fighter, you're not gonna have fun. What's gonna happen to you? You're gonna get hit by Hadoukens the whole fucking time. Look at MK. What's the number one thing casuals talk about when it comes to MK? It's that fucking low kick, bro. It's that low kick. Let's be honest. And it's just not understanding the concept that, Okay, if I'm knocked down and I get back up, I should probably not just hit buttons, bro. Where's the clip, bro? We need to run the clip, actually. We need to run the clip.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
Just go easy on me, okay? I'm new.
Just go easy on me. I'm new. Remember that. Remember those words. Those words from a kind young boy, a kind young fellow.
You're new to the game.
New to the game.
You just go easy on me.
Welcome to
I'm new to the game.
Welcome to the real world! Welcome to the real world!
Okay, that's a cheap move.
That's a cheap move. Remember that. It's not a cheap move. You just woke up and pressed button. You didn't block.
That's a cheap move.
Welcome to the real world!
Is he gonna block?
You gonna learn today!
He tried to jump. He's not blocking. He's still not blocking. But yeah, you need to understand certain concepts within these games to enjoy them. That's why it's harder to get into these.
Everyone, but
And also, everybody else you run into online is at least gonna understand one or two of those concepts. Two of those concepts. You know what I mean? So if you understand zero, you're just not gonna have a good time.
majority of people who play games do not indulge in fighting games like how fighting game people indulge in fighting games, which is part of what I've noticed after I've spent much of 2024 diving into fighting games.
Also, what does Smash also have? You know it, bro. It got them items. It got them items, luck factor. It has team play, so you can blame your loss on others. It has like the free for all game modes and stuff, so you can blame your loss on others and things of that nature, bro. In Street Fighter, it's you, only you on the screen, bro, fighting for your life, bro. If you're bad at the game, you're just gonna lose.
I actually do think the genre kind of fails at a lot of stuff fundamentally, which is why it's so niche. And that's interesting. Exclusivity and eliteness,
I wonder what he's gonna bring up, because I don't see it.
I guess, is the
Definitely not nowadays with how accessible fighting games have become.
result of that nicheness, and that's not a good thing in my opinion. To preface though, I fucking love fighting games now after 2024. Dragon Ball FighterZ is incredible. Guilty Gear Strive is my personal goat at the moment, although Xrd I played a little of that too. That one has crazy amounts of ore. It's unfucking believable. Tekken 8 I played a little recently. Sparking Zero, can't win them all. Recently I've been playing Grand Blue Fantasy versus
Sparking Zero in a lineup of fighting games is crazy.
Rising. This genre is genuinely and unironically some of the most fun you can possibly have playing games.
And now, it all ends.
No, because seriously, hear me out. In terms of gameplay itself, fighting games, generally speaking, are a fucking 11. Generally speaking. But in many other aspects, they
Not a fighting game.
Fat fucking dick, and someone's got to talk about it so they can grow. This video isn't me complaining, it's me addressing what I've observed to hopefully bring more people into the scene. If you're a fighting game guy, you may disagree from your perspective, but because I'm still sort of fresh off the griddle,
He says this is a video I made to get more people in the scene. Okay.
not super involved in fighting games, but I know how they work, and you know, I'm pretty sick nasty, you know what I'm saying? I think I can see both perspectives pretty well, not gonna lie. And to put it more bluntly though, we need to rethink our current means of making fighting games, or this genre will never get the recognition it's been yearning for. The one that not only the developers of these games want, not only what many players who already indulge in them want, but what the masses want too. If not, it will remain a niche little genre for only the people willing to look past its faults if we don't have the balls to admit them. Do you want to see your favorite genre flourish, or will you glaze it into the ground and watch it remain a sideshow, denying all the people who want to play it the will to get through the door?
See, here's the thing I think he's already misunderstanding. The reason that fighting games are niche is not because of their accessibility. The reason that fighting games are niche is because of its design. The design of these games caters to a very specific type of person. That's how the genre is. If you don't want it to be like that, if you don't want it to be as niche, you're just not going to have the same game. Then you are going to get a Sparking Zero, or you are going to get a Naruto Storm, or, you know, something like that, or a Smash Brothers. Wait, I'm not saying that Smash Brothers isn't a fighting game, but I'm just saying it had to change a lot of things about the genre to give it that mainstream appeal. You know what I mean?
It's passion. And no more dramatic YouTuber text on the screen type shit, my bad. But it is passion. Like, seriously, it is. I want to see this genre get what it deserves in a good way. The overarching problem is not that
There's nothing wrong with it being niche. Nothing at all. It's the developers. Yes, of course, the developers want the games to have as much success as possible, but their goal is not, oh yeah, we're gonna make this the next Call of Duty. It's just not gonna happen because of how the genres are built. It's not made for everyone. And often the best things in life, the best forms of media, aren't made for everyone. They have a specific target audience, a specific group of people that they're targeting. A game like Call of Duty is for everyone. A game like FIFA is for everyone. A game like 2K is for everyone. Now, of course, they do have target audiences. They appeal more to male demographics. They appeal more to sports fans. In the case of 2K, things of that nature, they appeal more to people who like action. In the case of Call of Duty, but at the end of the day, they pretty much are able to be played and have fun with by everyone. And fighting games aren't made for that.
don't have interest in fighting games. It's the fact that they do have interest in them, but they don't play them. This is caused by multiple things in my eyes.
And what this is, I'm gonna explain that, because if you're like, oh, if it's made for a specific person, then why don't they play them if they are interested? Let me explain this real quick. You gotta look at what are they exactly interested in when it comes to these fighting games. They might be interested in the characters. They might be interested in the art style. They might be interested in how it looks and just like the cool factor, the vibe. What they're not interested in is putting in the work and the effort to actually learn how to play these fighting games and putting in hours to actually understand them, get better, and indulge in that climb pretty much to your own personal heights, your own personal peak. You get what I mean? Or it could become the best if that's what you're interested in. But they're not interested in that improvement journey. Just like when you look at the Soulsborne games, a lot of people really think like, oh my god, this shit looks cool as hell. This looks amazing. Look at Elden Ring. A lot of people love how the world is structured and this, that, the third. But there are a lot of people, like, even though it sold amazingly, reviewed amazingly, a lot of people played it, a lot of people loved it. How many people actually beat that game? There aren't a lot of people who want to go through the pain of losing that much until you improve and get better, or like, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. I do think still it's a little easier with Dark Souls because at the end of the day, you're playing against a game. You're not playing against people. That's a lot more competitive.
Now where to begin? Well, let's say you don't really know how to play video games and you're on Steam. You're expecting when buying a multiplayer game for full price that it will be a full package and will obviously teach you how to play the game with a tutorial, because how else will you know what you're doing? If you buy
Smash doesn't. You know what I mean? Call of Duty doesn't teach you everything you need to know to actually get good at the game. They teach you what you need to know just to be able to play. They teach you all the mechanics. They don't teach you how to actually utilize the mechanics. That's what every game. Now, of course, games back in the day, especially when you look at the roots of fighting games, you know, in the arcade, you're not going to have a tutorial. On the fucking cabinet, it might, you know, have a picture of some of the controls. But as fighting games have progressed and now that they're being designed for home consoles, obviously you have tutorials, you have combo trials, you have custom combo trials in games like Guilty Gear Strive. Every fighting game needs to have that, by the way. I do want y'all to know that every fucking fighting game needs to have that. I don't know why only Strive has that shit. At the end of the day, in the tutorials, you will learn the mechanics. In the combo trials, you will learn the combos.
well, your aim won't be very good.
But you will not learn how to use the mechanics. You will not learn when to use your combos. right? And when you use what combo, things of that nature, you kind of have to figure that out yourself, because else it's not a game. It gives you the puzzle pieces and you're able to place them. Not even puzzle pieces, it gives you Lego bricks and you're able to build whatever you want with them. It's the same when it comes to shooters like this. They teach you how to walk, they teach you how to sprint, crouch, go prone, shoot, aim, whatever. It won't teach you, okay, let me look at the map here. I'd see, okay, where do I position myself? You do not understand, oh, if you use the map in a certain way, you can tell where the enemies are going to spawn in. Here's how you spawn trap. Here's how you position yourself. Here's how you head glitch. It don't teach you shit like that. No game does.
How else will you know what you're doing? If you buy a shooter, for example, your aim won't be very good when you first start off, but the tutorial will teach you what you're supposed to do in order to succeed. If you buy—
No, it won't. It does not teach you what you're supposed to do. This is how you walk. This is how you move. This is how you shoot. This is how you damage enemies. That's all it teaches you.
If you buy a fighting game, for example, your everything won't be very good when you first start, and you're completely fucked out of the box. No, do not go to the comment section yet, even if you love fighting games.
What does that even mean?
Succeed. If you buy a fighting game, for example, your everything won't be very good when you first—
Your everything won't be very good. Has he ever seen... This shit is funny. Try this if, you know, you got some older folks that would be interested in this for some reason. Have you ever seen an older person try to play Call of Duty that has never used analog sticks? Bro, it's a different experience. Bro, the tutorial will not get them in the door. I promise you that. Being able to move around and aim, like look around while you're moving, is something that has been inherited within us, but it's not very common. It's the same thing with fighting games, where legacy skill will get you a long way. Even if, let's say, you have 20 years of experience in one of the SNK games and you've never played Strive, you're still gonna be better off than somebody who's played a bunch of more mainstream games like a Call of Duty or a Ghost of Tsushima or things of that nature. That you're gonna be a lot better off than them if you throw yourself into Strive. You get what I mean?
Have to admit it, fighting games do not teach you how to play. And every fighting game I've ever played does not have a tutorial. It just does.
He's just lying. He's just lying. Why is he lying like this? I don't get it. What modern fighting game does not have a tutorial? What? Didn't he say he played Strife? Strife is one of the most extensive tutorials on the market.
Doesn't even have what I would consider it doesn't even have one. Full stop. What do you mean the video game I purchased for full price does not teach me how to play the fucking game?
No game does that. I'm gonna be honest, no game does that, because that's how games work. It's supposed to be fun in that way, where it teaches you, hey, here are the mechanics you can use, and then you can figure out yourself, how do I use these mechanics? That's simple.
What do you mean by that? You know how some people look at Terraria and are like, bro, I'm not playing that game. I mean, you literally gotta have the wiki open to play that shit. Like, bro. And you know how those people are completely wrong, right? Well, with fighting games, like,
never played that shit.
All of them, you have to get outside help in order to play them, like a YouTube tutorial or something.
You don't. Let me tell you something, bro. See, I was ready to be on your side, bro, but the more you speak, the more wrong you are. Oh my god. So here on the screen, we have a very old video of mine. Don't even worry about this face here, please. I'm begging you. Over here we have two players, Ken and Abdul. I don't know who Abdul is no more. Today we're talking about Ken. Ken never hopped into training mode in this game. He never watched no YouTube guides. He just plays the game. People would sometimes say like, oh, you can do this or you can do that or blah blah blah, but he would just play, learn what works, learn what doesn't work. He never played any other fighting games, by the way. This was his first fighting game, and he didn't need any tutorialization. All he needed to know is, what buttons can I hit? what moves exist, and then he figured out himself how he wanted to play the game. This was legit one of the top 10 players in this game. Well, not in this game, in the Europe scene, in the Europe area. And he didn't need any of what you're speaking of. Also, while I'm editing the video right now, I was thinking like, bro, back in the day, in the arcades, where you didn't have a tutorial, where online content didn't exist, it wasn't even in guidebooks because it's a niche genre. These people were still learning the game just through playing. Like, you've never needed these online tools. He's just lying. So, there's that.
Shit. To realistically reach that 11 out of 10 gameplay experience. You cannot just look at your friend and go, yeah, man, just play the tutorial. You know what's gonna happen? They're gonna spend an hour of their day, if not more, and come out of the other side of that tutorial and be at almost the exact same level.
No tutorial takes an hour in fighting games. I don't even, what? I guess maybe if you're doing all the tutorials and doing like some combo trials or something, I don't know. Maybe in Strive, if you do all the tutorials, I know Strive has a lot of tutorials, but not all of them are necessary at all. If you just do the tutorials which tell you this button does this, that button does that, then you're pretty much fine.
Level of skill and knowledge is before they started and probably be overloaded with information.
And then over time, you could go look at the other tutorials. If, like, let's say you see, oh, this person just did this, that, the third. Oh, let me see in the tutorials if I can see what that is and how to use it.
Shit. These games don't show you context for which to use these things that they're telling you.
I genuinely can't even find a Google image / video showing an in-game tutorial, because the second you try to search for that, it shows tutorials and guides made by other people, because the in-game ones are just that buns, bro. I'm telling you. That's, once again, literally the case with every game. Like, what are we talking about, bro? He really went up to Google. He said, Guilty Gear Strive tutorial images, and he was like, first of all, I see the tutorial screen right here. Actually, I see a tutorial screen right here. Was he just lying? You actually had more when I looked up Guilty Gear Strive. That's so interesting. Or let's look at, what did he look up? This is a combo trial. Here you got the tutorial. Okay. Let's look at Tekken. I think he's literally just lying to us. He's literally just lying to us. He's just lying. He's just blatantly lying. What? Maybe Dragon Ball Fighters, which is a bit on the older side. Maybe it shows it too. He's just lying. He's just lying. He's just blatantly lying to us, bro. He did not Google that shit. Maybe if he looked it up on YouTube, he didn't find it. But as we saw, when we looked up Call of Duty on YouTube, we also didn't find it.
Reminder, I sit here.
Wait, go back.
Use these things that they're telling you about. Reminder.
What is this? What is this? You can put inputs on your screen when you're playing online in Tekken?
I do not hate going through these shopping lists if it's a game that I vibe with. More on that later. But I know that other people do, because I've seen it with my own eyes. If you
then don't play the whole tutorial. Just learn the basic things and just hop into arcade mode or hop online if that's what you want to do. I don't get it.
Play fighting games already? Don't.
Oh, what? They don't want to lose? Nobody wants to lose, but 50% of the player base is losing right now. That's just how it works. It's a 1v1 fighting game.
A lot of people opt to just find some enjoyment through hitting buttons because the other option involves long, hard, tedious, boring, strenuous, exhausting, boring forms of learning as it stands now. What sounds like it would be more gratifying if you're not into fighting games? Like if you're a complete newbie. Press play, press go, hit buttons, maybe see some cool stuff happen, or going through actual hell to know how to play. We could sit here all day and point the blame at the players for not learning the games themselves, but who are we to blame people for just...
I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying they don't enjoy putting all these hours into just learning this video game. They don't want to do that. They just want to pick up the game, play for a little bit, and just be done with it. And then I think that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly serviceable.
Trying to have fun in the only feasible way.
Now, are they wasting their money if they spend $70 on a game just to mash for 3 hours and move on with it? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But at the end of the day, it's their choice, and it shows who fighting games are made for.
They know how. The real truth is that learning these games should be accessible, understandable, and fun, but it just currently fucking isn't for most people.
Once again, booting in as the editor. Honestly, learning fighting games is fun. If you don't find it fun, then it isn't for you. You know, that's like saying poker isn't fun. Maybe you just don't like it. Maybe you just don't like the experience of going online, losing, figuring things out slowly, learning the fighting game. That's literally what the game is. Bro, I'm losing it, bro. The games have always been designed in a way where you learn through experience and through battles and through your losses and through your wins. That's just the genre. It's not meant for it to hold your hand. I'm sorry.
You can call me bitter in this next take, but doesn't part of you feel as though the only people who are at that level with fighting games where they understand how the genre works are only there because they enjoy the vibe of their game strongly enough to get past all these hurdles? Hurdles that, when compared to most other genres, are way higher. If that was true, then the...
Bro, could you imagine though? Let's scale it down. Could you imagine for a second you pick up a new game, a Mario game, a 2D platformer. And it's like, okay, before you begin, this is how you move, this is how you jump, this is how you run. All right. But wait, there's more. If you jump on an enemy, they die. But there's more. If you jump against like a block, it can you can break it and stuff could come out. But wait, there's more. You also have these power-ups, but wait, there's more. You need to realize and utilize your run in a specific way, because running, while very fast and can be very helpful, is also dangerous because you'll have to react faster to things and things of that nature. Like, could you imagine if every game held your hand like that? And it might sound crazy, but that's basically what you would have to do with fighting games. Just because there are so many things in there, it's a lot better, a lot more fun, and a lot more intuitive if you just teach people, hey, these are the buttons you can press. This is how you move. This is how you punch and kick. Have fun, figure it out. The fun comes from figuring these games out.
Game with the strongest vibe would simply be the most popular fighting.
That's the fun of learning a fighting game, the figuring out. The fun of learning does not come from somebody explaining every single detail to you. You yourself got into fighting games. You might have had somebody helping you out how to play, or maybe you watched videos how to play, things of that nature. But not everything you know from fighting games that you learn through these videos. You learned a couple things and then you try to apply them, and then you learned some other things yourself. Like, it just comes naturally for the most part.
Despite also being very difficult. Oh, wait. It is. Yep, Big Smash! But Smash is just a party game. This party game got fucking hands, bro. What that make you?
Shit, I don't know. You got a 6P in my game. I must just be a little party game, man.
Fighting game players and non-fighting game players especially, strap in your seatbelts for this take. I have about the same time in Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate as I do in traditional fighters that I've played, all tallied up together. And I can tell you right now, to learn Smash is equally, if not harder, than learning these shits, and I'm not even kidding a little bit. Smash is a difficult ass game with just
True. The only difference is that in Smash you don't have to learn the game to have fun, you know. And with traditional fighters, generally you do. You kind of do. Unless you just mash and keep it at that. If you play for more than like 3 hours, you kind of have to start learning things. And in Smash, you never have to learn. You can just play for fun. You could just play against bots. You can play against your local supermarket manager, you know?
Just as high, if not higher hurdles than the ones these games are currently making you jump over. But why does it not seem that way? Well, because the vibe of the game drove enough people to get past them. The vibe or allure is the primary thing that
Wait. What did he just say? Because I think we just said two very different things.
these games are currently making you jump over. But why does it not seem that way? Well, because the vibe of the game drove enough people to get past them. The vibe to learn Smash is equally, if not harder than learning these shits, and I'm not even kidding a little bit. Smash is a difficult ass game with just as high, if not higher hurdles than the ones these games are currently making you jump over. But why does it not seem that way? Well, because the vibe of the game drove enough people to get past them. The vibe or allure is
I'm telling you right now, approximately 99.99% of the Smash player base has not jumped over the hurdles of learning Smash. Have not taken a single step to learning Smash at all. The thing with Smash, like I said before, you don't have to learn the games to have fun. And in these other games you do. The hurdles for Smash are just, oh, these hurdles are here to get to the next level of being competitive. You know what I mean? In other fighting games, the hurdles that are in place are hurdles are basically fun barriers in a way. You need to jump over these hurdles to have more fun. In Smash, it's more about you jump over the hurdles because you want to, fight stronger people and be more competent. But Smash is fun from the beginning, from the start. That's why fucking infants can play that shit. You get what I mean?
the primary thing that drives people to overcome, I find. I love strive.
Like Smash has a lot of depth. More than any fighting game. Why do I say that? Because the starting position is like all the way up there. Like it's so easy to just jump in and play. But then you can dive deep. You can dive deep. You get what I mean? But it starts off so easy. Like the difference in knowledge that you can have in Smash while having the same amount of fun is crazy.
Style, music, characters. So I was willing to look up YouTube tutorials. I was willing to look past the fact that the game basically doesn't have a tutorial. I was willing.
Ain't no way you say. Didn't he say he could not find the tutorials?
I was willing to.
What is this? Bruh. Oh my god, what the hell? It teaches you dash blocking, bro. A fighting game doesn't even need to teach you that. You don't have to do these. You cleared them all, but you don't have to do these. I commend you. But yeah, you don't even have to do this to learn about dash blocking. Like, really think about that. Do you have to do this tutorial to learn about dash blocking? If you've already learned how to dash and how to block, and you play the game, aren't you eventually going to figure out, yo, if I dash and block right here, it allows me to approach in a safer way? Like, you eventually just intuitively figure these things out. But
to look past the fact that the game basically will overcome, I find. I love Strive style, music, characters, so I was willing to look up YouTube tutorials.
He says he loves Strive, he loves the characters, etc., and that's why he was willing to play the tutorials. You just don't have to play the or willing to look up guides and tutorials. You just don't have to have any fun. You really don't. You could just play the game. These guides are made as kind of like a shortcut to understand things a bit faster, and maybe there are certain things that you'll never understand if you try to intuitively learn them just because you are not able to put those things together. The games never teach you all the depth because it's so deep, bro. Pause. I don't know. But they never teach you the more in-depth stuff. That just doesn't happen. It's like an iceberg. You know what I mean? If you look at a video game, it's like an iceberg. Smash is you know what I'm saying? That's really an iceberg, bro. You can make a good iceberg video on Smash mechanics. But yeah, most of the things in that game you don't learn because you don't have to have fun. And the game definitely doesn't teach you. No game does. That's just how games are made, bro. I don't get why this is so specific to fighting games. Don't make sense.